Hello friends. I am Sunil Ranjan and I'm an English teacher. Now in this session I'm going to take up the poem Missing My Daughter by Stephen Spender. First I'm going to tell you about the poet Stephen Spender. Stephen Harold Spender, that is his full name. He was born in Kensington, London. He was born on 28th February 1909. He was an English poet, novelist and essayist whose work concentrated on themes of social injustice and class struggle. He was discovered by T.S. Eliot, the famous critic, poet, dramatist and Nobel laureate. On 16 July 1995, Spender died of a heart attack in Westminster, London. Now, as the title of the poem indicates, the poet expresses his deep feelings about his daughter. He imagines her presence in his room. Being in such a state of mind, he picks up his pen and writes a poem recalling her sweet childhood. Various images begin to flash across his mind while he does so. Now, coming to the lines. This wallpaper has lines that rise upright like bars, and overhead the ceilings patterned with red roses on the wall opposite the bed. The staring looking glass encloses 6 roses in its white of eyes. Now the explanation. As the poem opens, the poet begins to describe the room he is in. He looks at a wallpaper that has lines going up. To him they look like bars. The ceiling over his head has patterns of red roses. There is a looking glass on the wall opposite the bed with 6 roses embossed on it. Now, coming to the lines. Here at my desk with notebook open, missing my daughter makes those bars draw their lines upward through my mind. This blank page stares at me like glass, where stared at roses wish to pass through petaling of my pen. Now the explanation. While at his desk, the poet opens a notebook, thinking about his daughter and missing her intensely. He begins to shape the bars that he had seen on the wallpaper on the canvas of his mind. While he does so, he begins to feel as if the blank pages of the notebook on his desk are appearing like the looking glass and looking at him. He feels as if the roses in the looking glass are pressing upon him to pen a poem. Now, an hour ago there comes an image of a beast that pressed its muzzle between bars. Next, through tick and talk of the reiterating clock, a second glared with the white dazzle of deserts. The door in a green mirage opened and my daughter came. Now the explanation. Lost in his imagination, the poet says that an hour ago there appeared an image of an animal that pressed its nose and mouth between bars. Then as tick-tock of the clock continued and time passed, and every second appeared like a hot dazzling desert with no hope. The next moment he had an illusion that the door of the room opened and his daughter came in. Now the lines. Her eyes were wide as though she has. The round gaze of her childhood was white as the distance in the class, or on a white page, a white poem, the roses raised around her name. Now the explanation of these lines. In this stanza, the poet describes his daughter as she steps into the room. She has the same wide eyes that she used to have in her childhood. The way she looked in her childhood with rounded eyes was angelic white and clear as one could see in the looking glass or imagine a pure poem dancing on a white page. Her name was so beautiful that roses too loved to run around her name. Now this poem, friends, is a sheer pigment of the poet's imagination. While thinking about his daughter who is not with him, the poet thinks and imagines about so many things in the room. He senses the presence of his daughter in his imagination. While doing so, his eyes run across things in the room. His poetic vision comes into full play while missing his daughter intensely. Out of sheer desperation and longing for her, he senses her even on a blank page of the notebook lying before him. So here I come to the end of the explanation of the poem, and my dear friends, if you have subscribed to my channel, so nice of you, and if you haven't and if you choose to subscribe, I promise that I'll be coming up with fine videos for you from time to time, and yes, I'll keep my promise. Thank you.